good to get to the conference part of our season. So had a bye week last week where we spent a lot of time trying to get a lot of guys healthy, and obviously I'm struggling to talk, but also get a lot of younger guys more opportunities to grow and develop. So, but we're excited about the opportunity to try to find a way to get a home win, go 1-0, sellout crowd against a good Syracuse team that went on the road to Clemson 2 weeks ago and beat them pretty good. So, but our guys are locked in, they're ready to go, and like I said, conference season gives us a chance for the kind of the meat of our schedule and the most important part. So we're excited to get that started.
You talked about turning towards the conference schedule. Did this bye week almost help you and the team just reset and aim your focus on just starting fresh a little bit?
Yeah, we'd have done that anyways. We were a little beat up more than we normally are 3 or 4 weeks in the season, so it, to some degree it came at a good time. Everybody knows we had 2 good competitive games that we had fourth quarter leads in and we didn't win, so there's no panic anywhere. There's urgency, but there's urgency every week. So we told them before the season, and we told them again after. If we'd done 4-0, 0-4, 2-2, 3-1, it doesn't. It matters, but at the end of the day, when you turn the page to the conference season, it's a new season regardless. If you're 4-0, it's a new season. If you're 0-4, it's a new season. So, we have an opportunity on Saturday to get a win at home, where I think we're 20-3 in the last 3+ years. And if we can get that win, we'll be 1-0, tied for the lead in the conference, just like that. And so we've got to do the things this week to prepare and earn the right to win on Saturday. And so that's what we're working on.
When last week when we talked with Scott, he talked about some of the changes in the back end, like moving Deuce. As far as in practice this week, what did you see from the offensive side going against some of those changes?
Yeah, they made those moves last week. I think it's no different on defense probably than on offense. First 3-4 games of the season, especially with a lot of new people, you're trying to find the right matchups or roles for everybody. And coming into the season, we knew 2 spots on the back end at safety, but had a lot of guys coming in that we felt could help us at corner that were new, and had a lot of guys competing in nickel. LaModric being hurt, got hurt, pulled a good hamstring last week, one less option there. So just making the decision to take a guy like Deuce, who's a really good player, can play corner, can play nickel, has done both at the college level, gives us some versatility there. I think Kyron Chambers is starting to settle into that position a little bit. Puts a mod. He can play in the post. He can play nickel. He's flexible. And then at corner, I thought Marcellus had his best game against TCU. Speedy and Smoke have been playing well. So we've got depth and options there. It's just about finding the right lineup, if you will, and then having the right guys in place to spell guys. Because, look, Ahmad and Isaiah played a lot of plays, and it shows late in the fourth quarter. So hopefully we can get more guys in early in the game that gets those guys fresher to the fourth quarter.
Kevin Jennings a little banged up before the bye. How was he, and how good was the time off for him to rest him a little bit?
Yeah, it was good for him. It was good for a lot of guys. He got banged up in that Baylor game, played the last 2 weeks banged up, got kind of rolled up again in the TCU game. So, for Kevin, obviously been hobbled the last 2 games, hadn't really been able to use his legs that much. Our O-line had played, but they've been pretty physically banged up. Obviously, our starting linebackers really haven't played together since the first half of the first game of the season. So, there's a lot of guys. Football comes with nicks and bruises. So a lot of those guys hopefully are feeling better. Today's 10 days since we last played. So we've had 10 days to somewhat still get work in and all that, but hopefully get a little healthier as we go into conference play. And so hopefully as we trend towards the end of this week, more and more guys, Jordan Hudson got to play, didn't even practice before the game. Literally was cleared Saturday morning of the game. So getting those guys back in the routine and as healthy as we can is important going into conference. And Kevin obviously is a huge part of that.
Coach, Syracuse had a good win against Clemson. They struggled last week against Duke. They gave up 500 yards. They could not score. Do you feel like this is a team that you have to aggressively come out and attack? And what do you think changed when you look at the film from those 2 weeks when you saw that same team?
Yeah, I think we have to aggressively come out and attack every week. So I think Syracuse is dangerous. I think what Fran has done there, and a year in 4 or 5 games is pretty incredible. 13 wins, I believe it is. They've won big games. They won Miami last year. They won at Clemson this year. They played good people this year. They played Tennessee. They played Clemson. They played UConn. They've obviously played Duke. I think what changed is they lost their quarterback. They were playing with a lot of confidence on offense. They got weapons at receiver. They play 5th fastest team in the country in terms of tempo. They do a lot of stuff in the RPO game that really puts you in conflict. So I think what changed is they started a new quarterback. That's always an adjustment. And they turned the ball over early and kind of got behind. It was 17-3 like that, which gives Duke a lot of confidence. There's a lot of change there. And unfortunately, sometimes you have those games where things just steamroll against you and it kind of gets out of control. It's still the same team, even if they have a different quarterback, that went on the road and was beating Clemson by 20 midway through the 4th quarter. So they're a dangerous team. They won 13 games in less than a year and a half. So, yeah, we got to attack and be aggressive. But that's kind of what we have to do regardless. But, yeah, it's a challenge. And also when there's a new QB, they get a week now. They have a better idea what he can do. And, they'll be better for it now. And there's still a lot of unknown for us on how they'll use him.
To go off of that a little bit, it certainly seems like they've found their identity with Angeli at quarterback, and then he does go down. So what is that process like for you trying to prepare for an offense that, to your point, maybe they don't even know a lot about?
Yeah, it's a lot like first game of the season when you have an idea, but there's still a lot of unknown. And, they tried some things last week. They'll probably double down on some and tweak some things. And, you learn the strengths of your quarterback. You play to those strengths. They know the strengths of the rest of their personnel. So they may look the same. They may look different, and you just don't know till you get in game. So you have to do a good job of adjusting.
How would you assess the confidence of the team? Obviously, you come in with high expectations. You only lost 3 games last year. You lost 2 this year. What's the morale inside the locker room?
I think the morale's great. We've lost 2 games with 4th quarter leads. We have high expectations for ourselves. We have higher expectations than people outside the building do. But last year we were 3-1. The year before we were 2-2 at the same point. And both years we played in the conference championship game. So, it's hard to win. It's happening all over the country. We wish we were 4-0. We wish we'd have closed out those games. We didn't. But I think our guys know we put ourselves in those positions despite being banged up and a new team. And we've got to find a way to finish those games. We got to find a way to go get a win, get some momentum. We got a great opportunity, but I've not sensed any issues internally. I've not sensed any lack of confidence. I've sensed good togetherness and good urgency for the opportunity at hand. And the great thing is, to some degree in college football, it's the preseason is your non-conference slate, and it matters. We want to win every game. But once you get into conference, the way it's set up now, it gives you a fresh start, and we control everything that's in front of us. And so that's the good part is hopefully those games, you got to learn from mistakes. You got to learn from failure. Failure's not wrong. Mistakes aren't wrong. It's when you don't learn from them that they're a problem. If we learn from them, those will help us as we can now control things moving forward. So we just need to get a hard-fought win somehow, some way this Saturday at home and get to 1-0 in our conference, and that'll help our confidence grow.
Your name has been linked to the Arkansas job, obviously. Where do you stand on that, and how do you react when your name is in these rumors this time of year?
Yeah, I don't stand anywhere on speculation and hypotheticals. So I'm happy. I've got a great job. I think when your name gets linked to jobs, it means your team has done well, the program has done well. So it's a compliment to what our staff and administration and players have built over the last 3+ years. And then a lot of times there's obvious connections. If it's your alma mater, it's easy to link names. But I haven't given it any thought because there hasn't been anything to give thought to. It's a fair question, but I'm really excited with what we're building here. I'm not discouraged at all by the fact that we're sitting here at 2-2. I think when you look at it, we've got a chance to go 1-0 in the league this year, which would be 9 straight conference games to start the ACC. I think what we've began to build is really fun, and what we can build is even more special. We got an excellent recruiting class that's freshmen right now. We got a top 25 recruiting class in 26, and a lot of guys on this roster that can come back. And so those are the guys that we're focused on. So, you know, you just, until there's things to talk about, you don't talk about them. You know, internally we haven't said a word about it because in my world nothing's going on. Outside of the world, there's a lot of that speculation, and that's part of our business, and it's probably not going anywhere.
Anything else, guys?
All good? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.